Abby Glassenberg from Craft Industry Alliance. I hope you are having a fantastic day. We are live every Wednesday right around this time to do a member spotlight where we get to drop in on one of our amazing members' studios and learn all about them. And I'm very excited today to be welcoming Deborah Fisher from Fish Museum and Circus. And Deborah, I see that you are here. So I'm going to hopefully welcome you into our live today. And I'm really excited. Deborah's work is absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Abby.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you.
You too. I'm happy I figured this out.
I know, right? It's always that moment of panic, like, is this working? But here we are. So I'm super excited to have you here for our member spotlight today. And I'd love if you can kind of tell people who might not be that familiar with your work yet, kind of what you've been working on recently over the last couple of years.
So I am a maker. I am a designer, an artist, a textile person, a clay person, a quilt person, but I always think of myself as a maker. I do a lot of well, I used to do more pattern design, quilt pattern design and things like that. And over the last number of years, I have been doing a lot more ceramics, specifically ceramics that are kind of geared towards people who make things like pin cushions and thread holders and things like that.
Great. And these pin cushions and thread holders and things are not just your average everyday sewing notions. They are totally charming and adorable, and they're creatures. And I wondered, and I want you to show everybody them in just a minute if you have some around. And I wondered if you could also tell us kind of how you arrived at this idea, because they're incredibly popular, and kind of what that journey has been like.
It was very unexpected, really. About five or so years ago, I had just finished publishing my second book. It was a book of quilt designs. And my father, who was a woodworker, decided he was going to take a ceramics class. And I've been through art school and all of that, and I've taken a lot of, I've done ceramic things over the years, but it's been a long time. And I said something like, oh, that sounds like fun. And he said, why don't you take it with me? So I did. And I was making stuff for, bowls and things like that. And I started thinking about how I could kind of relate one thing to the other, how I could make the ceramics relate to the sewing. And so I started kind of fiddling around with the pin cushions and seeing what would happen. I kind of felt it out at Sew Pro, where you work also.
It was great.
That was years ago, and I kind of did like a little soft opening. And then I went to QuiltCon in Savannah, which was, and I've lost track of all the years.
It was a while back. I was there, and we had time to meet together then. So it was a couple years back.
Yeah. So it was maybe 4 years ago, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
And they were amazingly popular, which was extremely unexpected. I just thought, well, I'll see how it goes, and then I'll know where to go from it. And it just became like a very it just became a thing. And I really still have no idea why. It's I wouldn't call it like an overnight success, because I have been working artist, designer, maker for 30 something or more years. It just happened to be the thing that, I don't know, that got people's attention the most, I guess.
Yeah. And if you are watching and you have an idea of why Deborah's ceramic sewing notions are so popular, please share in the comments, because we would love to hear. And Deborah, can you show us a few of the ones that you have around?
Yeah, so I don't usually have that many around, because they really do sell out very, very, very quickly. This guy, this is a unicorn horn, rainbow horn, pincushion. This one is actually going to be in an auction for Quilting Fairy. It's going to be an Instagram auction at the end of the week. And so anyway, so this one will be in there. And then I've got like little minis. This is like a little ladybug. And these, I kind of call them thingamals because at the very beginning, I tried to make them be like actual animals, but then I decided that that's really no fun. You might as well just make like weird things because that is just so much more fun than trying to make something look like a certain breed of dog or something. I mean, so anyway, so I have a lot of fun with that. And then these guys are in process. I do things like these kind of head people things. Not as often, but
and they become almost like boxes, right? Where there's like, or sometimes there's a pincushion on top, and sometimes it's a whole box, right?
Yeah. I've done sewing boxes where it's like a big head, and then there's a pincushion top that's actually a lid, so you can take that off and then store things in there. These guys will all be pincushions with just like a pincushion part to it, and then like this one, I've done these are like fairies, and they've got a little
look
wing,
how cute
scissor wings, that kind of thing.
I can't imagine anyone who would not want that. That is so adorable. And tell us a little bit about your process. So having seen pictures and little short videos and things from your Instagram feed, I know you work in batches. So you'll make, you know, if you're doing the ladybugs, you'll make a bunch of the ladybugs and some other things and put everything in the kiln at once. And so talk to us a little bit about sort of your method of production.
So I'm not a ceramicist. I just happen to make things with clay sometimes. That's the way, you know, it's, you get your kind of sensibility is a certain way. So I used to make like just one-offs, like there would be one ladybug and one this and one that and one, and as anybody who makes things knows, that becomes very time consuming. And so I started doing these little small batch things. And it seems to just kind of work better. And I think that it allows more people to get a pincushion who want one. So I think, so that's nice also.
And has it helped a little bit as far as publicity, like listings or explaining to your newsletter list what's coming, to have the batch available versus having just one off? Because I know when you make a one-off thing, having to take the photos and write unique marketing copy and everything can be a lot to do just to sell the one item. Whereas if you have 8 of them, you know, you're working in volume, even though each one is handmade, so a little bit different from the one before. Yes.
I originally thought, well, I can't make, you know, 6 of the same thing because they're never going to be exactly the same, and nobody's going to want, everybody's going to want to know exactly what they're going to get.
Right.
But I found that's really not true. If they, you know, if they choose a ladybug, they're happy to get any of those ladybugs.
So interesting.
Yeah. So, and it saves me so much time because it is, you're right, it's not just the making, it's the photographing and the writing of the thing and all of that. So it saves me a lot of time. And I've kind of picked up different tricks along the way. I used to measure every one of them. Now I just take a picture with like a little ruler so that it's just part of the photography process. It's not a whole nother step. So I've kind of come up with these little things to save time, which I think is really good for the customers too, because then there's just, I have more time to make things for them.
Right, absolutely. And can you talk a little bit about how you kind of get the word out about them when they're available. Because as we said, they sell out really fast. I'm very lucky because I have one, which is up on my shelf over there. But you know, I felt like so lucky when I got it. So I'm just wondering, how do you get the word out? Like, hey, I have a new drop, a new batch ready to go. Like, what do you
It's
do
the
next
email.
to let
Yeah.
people know about that?
It's the email newsletter. It's all email newsletter. I do sometimes put things in on Instagram, but it's really just to tell people, go sign up for the email newsletter. So I send my newsletter out every first and third Thursday of the month, which also makes me happy when there's 5 Thursdays in a month, because I get an extra week to get things done, which is this month. So it's kind of a nice little break to take care of other things. And so on the first and third Thursday, there are, you know, pictures, photographs of whatever it is that's going to be available. And it tells people the exact time and day. And I try to switch those up because I have, you know, people in Australia and people in California, and I'm in New York. So I try to switch it up so that some are in the morning, some are in the evening. And then they know exactly what time to go on.
That's great. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of email newsletters, so it makes my heart happy to hear that that's how you get the word out, and that seems to be the most effective because, of course, you're not impacted by algorithms that way. Everyone who's wanting to know about it gets to know about it right in their inbox. So that seems really smart. And
it's one of the many things I learned from you, Abby.
Thank you. Can you talk a little bit about, so you're on Shopify, correct, for e-commerce?
Yes.
And has that been a good, e-commerce setup for you?
It has been. I started on Etsy, like I know many people do, and it's a very good way to start. And then a number of years ago, there was a couple of reasons that I switched. One of them was because there was a lot of complaints about people who put things in their cart, went to pay for it, and then somebody else bought it out from under them.
Right.
And of course, you know, the problem with Etsy is that nobody knows who you are. They just say, I got it on Etsy. And right. I decided it was time to kind of take the next step. So I went on Shopify, and they just, they used to have a cart hold built in. Turns out they no longer have a cart hold built in, but I have a plugin that is supposed to work. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's still an issue because obviously people get very frustrated because they go to buy something and somebody kind of just like and I can't figure it out. People will ask me what's the trick, and I really can't figure it out. I don't know if it's internet connection, how fast people are going, if it's what it is. I have some people who are very successful and some people who have been trying a long time, and it's frustrating for me too because I want to make everybody happy.
Of course you do, absolutely. And part of being a business owner is dealing with all different kinds of customer experiences and trying to improve that over time. And can you talk a little bit about some of the other opportunities that maybe the success of this line of Ceramic Notions has led to for you, or just new opportunities and new things that you've been doing? Because I know this is a big part of your business, but it's still not the only thing that you do.
Right. And it really, it took me a while to realize that it really can't be the only thing, because it's not really a scalable thing for me. I can only make so many of them. I physically can only make so many of them because if I work too much on them, then I start getting like pain in my shoulders and all kinds of stuff. So, I can never kind of grow with it. So what's actually been really exciting is I decided to do some licensing. And so I have a fabric collection that's coming out with Wyndham Fabrics.
So exciting.
It's, I love the way it all kind of comes around. So I've designed like a number of doll patterns, and my doll patterns look, like they look like my ceramics.
They do.
People. And then I have a fabric collection coming out where these, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to tell about
Don't
it yet.
Don't tell us too much. Just tell us a little hint. But
these guys, and the reason that I'm actually making these right now is to be part of the collection, the new fabric collection, because these guys are kind of translated into 2 dimensions then. So it's one of the reasons I think of myself as a maker, because it's not about, it's, you know, it's kind of a style and aesthetic that goes through whatever material it is that I'm working with. So
yeah,
it will be a sewing, it's a sewing themed collection. And so I'll just give you like a little sneak peek here.
Oh, sneak peek.
There's some fun things coming, and I'm designing some new sewing patterns to go with it. So
Not here first. So exciting. That is amazing. And I know you still are writing books and working on that too. You have a new book out in collaboration with our guest from last week, actually, Trixie.
Yes. So Trixie and I did kind of a compilation book. She actually has her own book out.
Her own book. She has 2 books out, yeah.
Yeah. So she has a Zenki Way out. And then we did a collaborative book with 17 different designers called Sewing Simple Softies. And I don't even have it right here. I should have it.
That's okay. We saw it last week. Don't worry.
And so that was really fun. We have, Trixie lives in Australia. We have never met in person. We didn't even we hadn't even spoken to each other through the whole thing, most of it. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, such a neat thing to be able to collaborate with somebody on the other side of the world who shares the same passion that you do. So that's also a neat experience, and all brought together by the internet and by people connecting online, which is so fabulous. So, okay, so if people want to get one of these Fish Museum and Circus originals, what should they do? Where should they go to sign up for the newsletter and make sure they're alerted to when they're going to go on sale so they can set an alarm on their phone and get there?
So you can find me at fishmuseumandscircus.com. That's the website. I am on Instagram at Fish Museum. And so those are the 2 best places to find me.
That's fabulous. Deborah, thank you so much for sharing a glimpse into your process in your studio today. And it was wonderful talking to you. And congratulations on all your success and upcoming projects.
Thank you. It is always wonderful to talk to you, Abby. I remember being on your podcast, episode 13.
That's right. Way back when.
Way back when.
It's incredible. I was just saying to somebody, I think I've had that podcast for 6 years. So yes, you're way back in episode 13. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So people should go back and listen, because that was actually before some of these, newer projects came about for you. So you can see, I think it's, a lot of times people feel like, wow, she's an overnight success. But when you walk it back, you start to see there's been a lot of years of learning that came before this.
It's a lot of years. I finally feel like at age 50, I'm finally figuring it out a little bit.
Yay, that's wonderful. So heartwarming and wonderful, and I'm so happy for you. So everyone go check them out, and thank you so much, and we will see you all next week. Bye.